by taking the guesswork out of giving and offering a gift registry where every artist can create their own wish list to share with family and friends and receive an additional 10% off. How about a gift with a personal touch? At Art Mart, you'll find everything you need to create that something special for that someone special. And a surprise gift for every artist in your life, an Art Mart gift certificate for their choice from the widest range of art supplies in the area. Serving art and artists for over 35 years with knowledgeable and personal service. Art Mart and Academy on Boone Heights Drive. I'm Cherry Johnson, Watauga County Arts Council, and I'd like to welcome you to a segment that I think is the new ground for us. We have not done this particular folks yet. As a matter of fact, you've probably never heard of them before. Now, you might recognize Gary Smith here because he's been in the theater community in this community for some years.
Yeah, about 10.
Yeah. But he is here with a brand new, exciting venture that I want to share with you. Actually, I want Gary to share it. Tell us about this, Gary.
Well, we're called Ensemble Stage. It's a professional theater, and we organized back about the middle of September. Mm-hmm. And we've been going strong ever since then and haven't stopped running. I don't know when we're going to stop.
Well, it's no wonder because I've already heard of several productions you've been doing. Tell us about that.
Yeah, our very first production was a staged recreation of the old Orson Welles radio broadcast War of the Worlds.
Yeah, that's the first thing I heard.
Yeah, and we had a bunch of people from the local community there that would perform on stage, and it was easy for them because they didn't really. It was since that was a recreation of the radio broadcast, they didn't have to memorize any lines. They had their lines on their.
They could read them.
They could read them, but we also used old time style sound Foley equipment, so there wasn't any sound effects. Electronically generated. Yeah. It was all, our Martian death ray was this big long tube that had a spring in it that when you hit it, it made this really neat sound, and so it was a lot of fun, and we had a great turnout for that.
That's great.
We did it at the Blowing Rock School Auditorium, which seats 250, and we had all but about 15 seats filled.
Wow.
And that was kind of our clue to say, you know what? Number one, this community deserves it, and this works, and this is what we need to do. And then right after that, we did a Christmas show called Christmas in Blowing Rock. Uh-huh. And the thing that we're trying to do that's a little bit different than what's been done before is really get the community involved and have them feel a vested interest with our theater. So, but when we do that, sometimes it creates a bit of a stress factor on us in the sense that, for instance, our show Christmas in Blowing Rock, it was originally written by one of our founding members, Lisa Lamont, but we had taken a survey during the War of the Worlds production to ask people just what their favorite Christmas song is. And after we compiled all that, then we put in the show everybody's favorite Christmas songs that was from the survey. So we couldn't even really write the show until the beginning of November, and then put it all together and get everything together and put it up on stage for Christmas. And unfortunately, we had a couple of performances canceled because of the bad weather.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. and then right now, this next weekend, we're doing 3 events for Winterfest.
I did see the name on the list. Yes.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, Friday night we kick off with a concert by Echo Park, which is one of these mainstay rock bands that's been around here forever. They've been doing stuff for about 30 years around this area, and they've they've got rave reviews over their stage performance of Tommy the musical.
Was a benefit for the arts
Yes,
council,
exactly. And then on Saturday we have 2 game shows. We have at 4 o'clock on the 30th, we have a game show called Winterfest Match Game, which is patterned and formatted just like that old match game on TV from the 60s and 70s. And then at 9 o'clock, we have the Not Necessarily Newlywed Game, which is formatted a lot like the old Newlywed game.
Bob Eubanks, was it?
Exactly, Bob. But once again, this was something that we wanted the community to give us their input on it. So we couldn't really get started on anything until we found out what they wanted.
Right.
And so we asked them, what kind of a game show do you want? And we gave them some choices and what type of a format. And the funny thing about it is the Not Necessarily Newlywed Game and the match game tied dead even and beat out the next closest thing by over 100, almost 100 votes.
Wow.
And then we asked them, do you want a family-oriented show or do you want a more adult-oriented show? And the family-oriented and adult-oriented were so close and beat out, everything else, every other possibility, that we decided, well, since how these two shows tied and these are so close, then let's just give them both. Let's do a family-oriented match game show at 4 p.m. and then a more adult-oriented, not necessarily newlywed game at 9.
Okay, first off, drop some names. Who else involved? Who's the we?
Well, the we is the founding members are myself, Lisa Lamont, who has been in the business longer than anybody of our group. She's been in the business close to 25 years.
Wow.
As a professional stage manager, and she also produced her own theater down in Florida for a time being that was actually originally called Ensemble Stage. So we were able to take that. We also have Tim Billman and Robert Miller Jr.
Yeah.
We're the 4 founding members, and then we have we have 3 other people that we use kind of as an advisory committee type thing.
And you're doing a board of directors and all
that.
Yeah,
and then eventually, we're putting together a board of directors and things, and I think the thing that's the most important and the kind of the focus that we want to go with is the community and having the community be invested in the theater. Our big slogan is, we're not a community theater, but we are a theater for the community.
I saw that, and that really enticed me when I saw that.
Yeah, and we're doing everything we can to stand by that. And when we say community, it's not just Blowing Rock. We want to get away from that stigma of, there's Blowing Rock here, and then there's Boone here, and then there's Banner Elk there. We're one great big community. And, we just love it up here, and the people and our patrons deserve to have access to the performing arts right now.
Which brings me to my other question, and that was, what's the big dream?
The big dream.
Yeah. Well, where do y'all want to take this? 10 years from now, what's the story?
Well, 10 years from now, we want to keep doing what we're doing, and having a place. And I don't necessarily know that we even want a one particular place that is our venue, because we want to be a part of a community.
Be accessible.
Exactly. So, we want to be able to take some shows and do some shows in Boone, and then a couple of days do some shows in Blowing Rock, and do some shows out in Banner Elk, or do some shows in Vilas. Whoever wants us.
West Jefferson would like to talk to you.
And West Jefferson, absolutely, yeah. And we've already got something in the works for this summer that we might be announcing here shortly about a summer season and where that's going to take place.
How fantastic!
Yeah. So we're really excited. It's a lot of work, but it's not really work when you're doing what you love to do.
Now, you mentioned community. You looking for volunteers?
Oh, absolutely. We always are looking for volunteers.
So if folks want to get involved, what should they do?
Absolutely. They could go to our website, and they can email us from our website, or they can just go email us at info@ensemblestage.com, and I'll be happy to talk to them. Oh, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to jump back because I forgot to mention our match game.
I was getting ready to ask you about that. Go ahead.
We have our panelists. We have panelists just like they did, in the old match game. We've got, right now we've got State Representative Cully Tarleton, who's on the panel, is one of the panelists. We've got actually the owner of MTN here, Terry Smith. And we've got Joe from Joe's Italian Kitchen. He's going to be on the panel, for the comedy relief.
That would be comedy relief.
Yeah. And a few other people.
A few of the well-known people.
Yeah, and there's probably somebody from a Charlotte network that will probably be on the panel. And once we get that confirmed, we'll know. And we were really excited because we had a Hollywood screenwriter on our panel, but she's actually the owner of Black Bear Books, Karen Hall.
Oh, I had heard that somewhere. Yes.
And she's written all kinds of stuff for MASH and everything. She was going to be on our panel, but now she's working on The Good Wife, which is that new series on TV. And they're having to have her come back out to L.A. for that weekend.
You'll get her for something else later.
Yeah, exactly. So we were sad to see that, but then that opened up an opportunity for somebody else that we could bring in. So yeah, it's just.
So to win the big fabulous prizes, what do people have to do?
Well, the contestants are picked from the audience for the match game.
So show up.
So show up, absolutely. And then it'll be, you'll just be asked as you walk in the door with your ticket if you want to be a contestant, and if you say yes, we'll give you half of a raffle ticket, and then we'll draw out 2 names, and those will be our 2 contestants.
All right, so it's a crapshoot. Whoever gets it.
Now, not necessarily the newlywed game. We did it a little bit differently because of the format of the game itself. We wanted, so we had people apply to be contestants through our website.
Right.
And then right now I'm actually in the process of calling them and talking to them, because I want them to understand the nature of the show and the format of the questions.
Be ready to go.
And are you going to be willing to answer these questions that will be asked of you? Because, frankly, I don't know how they got away with it on TV back in the 60s, because you watch some of these old clips on YouTube of the newlywed game, and it's like, these questions, how did they not get censored off there?
Because in those days, people didn't answer the same way they would today.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's not so much the questions that are risque, but there's a great possibility of the answers being risque.
So folks don't want to miss this. This is going to be
something it's going to be a blast,
well
and it's a first up here too. That's what's so great. We've broken so much ground in this so far. We've had WASU come out and actually record and rebroadcast our War of the Worlds. That's never been done up here in the high country. And now we've got this with this adult-oriented game show. And so, yeah, it's just a blast.
You're making a difference.
Oh, I hope so.
All right, so if they want to get in touch with you, check your website.
Yes, absolutely. www.ensemblestage.com.
Okay, and of course, to learn more about the arts all through the high country, check our website, watauga-arts.org. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you bet.